Welcome to a new update, and in this update we're talking about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is currently rallying upwards. We are approaching $37,000 and even 40k is a potential case in the upcoming few weeks to be hit, which is a completely different shift from 26k a few weeks ago, and it's a new paradigm that we don't know yet. It is called the bull cycle. So we're going to talk about the higher time frames of Bitcoin. We're talking about the lower time frames of Bitcoin and why we are actually seeing this strength. And we're talking about the entire cycle as a whole, which I'll be discussing way more in the next few updates. But as we are reaching the new highs, what can we expect from the markets from here? That's an important topic to realize. Also, if you're looking for more assistance with your portfolio, or you're looking for consultancy from us, we have just launched the consultancies and portfolio management. We've got target portfolios, you can see it all on the website, which have been doing between 27 to 33% in the past 2 months, as we launched it since September 1st, and we are currently tracking it, which is something that you should be focused on if you're approaching or looking for guidance into the bull cycle. Because Chainlink is doing really well, Bitcoin is doing really well, and I can understand that for you it's a question or not whether you should be allocating it and how you should be doing it, and that's why we've got the consultancies. Additionally, we've got the sponsorship with Bybit, and Bybit is sponsoring this video. You can have the opportunity to win an iPhone 15 Pro or an iPad Pro if you sign up through my link. And also, if you're in the Netherlands, you're able to trade derivatives on Bybit, which I'm doing for my Bitcoin and other altcoins day trading. It's our partner for this video. Now, when we're looking at the markets, the first thing we should do is that we should be zooming out. So what we see here is Bitcoin, which has a pivotal breakout, which has been going above 30k. So technically speaking, if we look at this entire market cycle here, we can say that Bitcoin has been consolidating around 26k, and from there we started to break to the upside. So as a resume, we still hold above the 200-week EMA, and as long as we stay above the 200-week EMA, that is a trigger for continuation. So in this aspect, we hold this level, we continue to rally, and we broke through the crucial resistance of 31k, which is comparable to the level that we witnessed in 2019, which was the 6k level. We broke through it, and you can see that we're showing acceleration at this point, and that acceleration is something that is very much understandable with the fact that we've got the spot ETF and that we've got the Bitcoin halving coming up. So it's very likely that we're going to continue this rally, and this rally is most likely going to follow us towards 48 to 50k, or 48 to 50k, which is the level that we usually hit pre-halving. So it's not expected that we're breaking all-time highs, but it's expected that we continue to have this rally and that we continue to go towards 48 to 50k as a potential target. But what we can see as data and as confirmation is that we broke through 31k and that we start to rally towards the next resistance, which I've marked here on the previous chart. So what did we see? Bitcoin has been consolidating beneath the level of breakout, which is this level at 29k. We started to break through it, and that was a trigger of continuation towards the next pivotal resistance. So at this point, we are breaking through resistance at 31k. We start to accelerate, and we are focused on the next resistance zone, which is at 38.2 to 40k, right? We've got this high here on this entire block, which most likely is providing us with resistance at least for the short term. So right now we're seeing this strength, and we are also seeing weakness in ETH against Bitcoin, which means the Bitcoin dominance continues to go up. But Bitcoin is currently up more than 30% over the past few weeks. So it's not unlikely to expect us to have at least a correction taking place, through which diving into the higher time frames gives you a guidance that we are approaching the resistance zone and have some period of consolidation. That's why the pivotal resistance at 38.5 is one to mark, and that's also why 31k is a level that you should be eyeing if we are having a more longer correction taking place on the markets. I don't think we'll see it because we'll be focusing on the lower time frames in a little bit. But overall, what we see is that Bitcoin is approaching higher time frame resistance. Why are we seeing this current strength? It is because the dollar is currently having some weakness, in the sense that the Fed is currently not hiking and the chances of having further hikes have decreased over time, which means that the yields are potentially getting into a stage of the final stage of the hiking policy, which means that we're going to get a rate that is going to go down instead of up, which is usually a case where tech stocks and crypto are going to do really well, and that is most likely what we're going to be facing in the upcoming period, and hence why we see the yields going down and Bitcoin going up. Additionally, above the fact that we have been witnessing Gaza and the entire geopolitical uncertainty, through which gold has been doing well and through which Bitcoin is also doing really well. So those two combined with the fact that we've got a spot ETF coming up and the Bitcoin halving, it is suiting the momentum on Bitcoin a lot. But you should still always take into consideration that higher time frame resistances do not lie. They are still there, and it's expected for us that we're going to hit them, especially this entire block based on the monthly, and then we're looking at the weekly, which is also this entire area. So I think, especially as we are at the first part of the cycle, it is not expected that we're going to break upwards in a fast manner. When we're talking about the cycles, and I'll be discussing this at a later point in time, you can see that there's a 4-year cycle pattern, which means that you've got a bear market year, which is 1 year, which we have been hitting the low in November of 2022. Then you've got the, let's say, accumulation year, which is the green block here, or the green bluish one, which is just double bottoms or the first grind to the upside, but then still altcoins doing really bad. And then we've got the purple one, which is the period before we break the all-time high, where altcoins are really starting to pace up, and where Bitcoin also continues to have higher lows. And in this aspect, if you go back in time, you can just see that the patterns are the same. We've witnessed a 1-year bear market, we've witnessed the 1-year accumulation, and now we're getting ourselves into the period of the first year of the bull cycle, which is purple, which means that most likely the high is going to be around 50 to 55k, around this high here. We're going to consolidate in between, but we're also going to have a period where the altcoins are starting to wake up substantially before we break the all-time high, which what I call is the bull phase 2. So in between, we are going to see altcoins doing really well, and we're starting to see some momentum, which we have been seeing with Chainlink, which we have been seeing with some other altcoins. So at this point, the confirmation of the bear market to be over is almost close to 100%. Especially with the breakout of 28k and holding the 200-week EMA for Bitcoin, it is granting us additional confirmation that we're going to continue and that we are entering the next phase of this cycle. When we're looking at Bitcoin on the lower time frames, I've been mentioning that we can definitely have a bear market, or at least a bearish correction, but what we have been witnessing is just the grind, right? We have been seeing a case of rally to the upside, hitting resistance at 34.8, which is a new yearly high. We have been trying to break to the upside, came back all the way, but we continue to make higher lows and higher lows and higher lows. So as long as that happens, we can continue moving to the upside. And right now we took out the liquidity on the upside, and we are most likely going to continue, which is going to face us at the resistance of 38 to 40k. So now the question is, what should we be looking at if we are going to have some day trades for Bitcoin? Well, day trade based, this is not a long entry for me. Most likely we are going to have a corrective move, hit around 35.5 and then go back up again, because I think inevitably we are going to reach 38 to 40k and probably are having ourselves into a period of consolidation, which means taking out the liquidity on the long side, rejecting towards 35k and then continue the upwards momentum. through which November is pretty much a sideways month. Anyway, at this point, there's no short, there's no long. So if I want to be taking longs, I wait for the correction to take place. The most obvious area is 35.5, of course, and then we target this block here between 38 to 39.9. If we get there, have a sweep to the upside. I will just try to make it. If we do this, fail and then reject again, this is your short trigger, and then I'm going to look for longs in this area. That is my trading approach at this point, and that's based on the information that I'm currently getting on the markets. Am I suspecting that we're going to have a retest at 31k? No, but if the markets are providing a correction on Bitcoin between 10 to 30% in a bull cycle, that is always an entry to buy. So if we get to 40k and correct down to 34 to 33k, that is for you a trigger to invest into the markets. It's going to give you a swift correction on altcoins of 20 to 40%. After that, they continue. So at this point, altcoins can still provide entries, but for Bitcoin, I will be waiting to activate day trades. And I'll be doing that on Bybit, of course. But I hope you have been enjoying the update today. The markets are heating up and we are into a bull cycle. Just buy the dips and wait until the end of the cycle. Have a great day, and I'll see you again on Saturday for my altcoin update. Ciao!